After initially making full use of digital image stabilization on the Canon C70 and R5C for handheld content work, a feature I'd previously said I unexpectedly fell for, I've now shifted that position somewhat. So I'm going to show you a mix of shots without stabilization, optical stabilization only, digital only, and with optical and digital IS combined, so you can see what you think for yourself, but certainly do your own tests. Okay, so right off the bat, I don't use digital image stabilization at all now. I just leave it set to off. Why? Well, my impression is that the digital IS seems to jitter around at times. It's not necessarily that bad, but nor does it give a noticeable advantage over using lens IS most of the time. Although on this 35mm shot Mishna got in the office, it does clearly add an incredible steadiness coupled with the lens IS. It almost looks like it's shot on a tripod, but then I don't usually want my handheld shots to look like they've been shot on a tripod. Then I'd use a tripod. I want some movement, just not micro jitters. Without lens IS, unnatural shifts and jitters sometimes seem more pronounced than with no IS at all. Sometimes it actually looks worse to my eye than with no image stabilization. So my personal opinion is that whatever advantage may be gained using digital IS along with lens IS is offset by the occasional unnatural jitter, as well as the crop that is introduced. And it's certainly completely unneeded at higher frame rates. When I'm shooting on primes with no IS, I take extra care with how I'm shooting. You see, when you shoot handheld with a camera like the Alexa with heavy cinema lenses, sure, it's not smooth, but there's no micro jitters either because of the weight distribution, and how you're holding it. I'm confident digital IS on Canon's cameras will only get better over time. Think how good it is on an iPhone, although it has way more sensor resolution to play with. But for now, I think the focus for me is on basic operator skills, weighting the rig well, setting it up ergonomically, and enabling myself to operate professionally. I'm currently waiting on a Zacuto trigger grip, after which I'll start using our VCT Pro base plate more again. I know that, additional steadying weight is something I've been missing. Even comparing my 100 FPS shots on the C70 to the ones I used to shoot on the Ursa, they're smoother on the Ursa, and that's because it's a heavier camera and I had it rigged up ergonomically for how I shoot. You can't just operate like a novice and expect professional results. I sold our other grips and single arms with our old Ursa, and the ones we have are designed for using like 2 at a time. But for fast-paced corporate work, I prefer just one arm grip. And I think the Zacuto trigger grip, I'll link to it below, will enable me to quickly switch between on the shoulder and underslung modes. Can't wait. Long story short, you can't digitally stabilize your way out of shit operating or a poorly set up camera rig. No doubt Canon's digital IS will improve a lot over time. In fact, I think it'll likely kick some serious ass in a generation or two, but for now, we've got to stick to the basics, honing our craft, developing our skill set, and being mindful and testing how we rig our cameras and distribute the weight so we can shoot professional, steady-ish footage without jumping to 120 frames per second. The Sony Cine Alta Primes video is in the works. It'll be out before Christmas, I promise. See you next time.